Hi everybody. I'm Giolla and I'm an activist, I'm an environmentalist and I'm a former chairperson of the Young Greens Uyghur Glass. So I actually left over issues such as this, although I didn't realise this was coming down the line quite so fast. But I'll not get into why I left. I'll just try to keep as a political conversation as apolitical as I can. But I'm not a politician and I'm not an economist. I don't even study economics. So I'm kind of at a bit of a disadvantage here following all these brilliant minds. But I want to kind of outline the views of my generation on this trade agreement, which is, it's pretty well summed up by something I read the other day. It's a 2016 article on CETA. And what it said, it's less of a trade agreement and more of corporate charter, which I think is, it's quite true. So a few weeks ago, the government changed their position on the ratification of the investor court system and they sent it off to an Oireachtas committee. So the fear a lot of us have now is that this temporary pause will be used to push the deal through the second it comes out, just saying, oh, well, we did our due diligence or whatever, and we're just going to let this go on through. So this was kind of the first real thing that really threatened to split the Greens right in the middle. And now members are kind of saying they're resigned to it passing, so they did their best, and a lot of members really did do their best, but it now seems that the kind of environmental, more left-wing part of this coalition has no teeth. So really, we're out on our own here, and to stop this, we're going to have to do it ourselves. So when they tried to push it through behind our backs, there was uproar from a lot of us who were kind of looking out for it and knew what we were looking out for already. But as CETA started to take over the news, I know a lot of people were like, what on earth is this? I know whenever I heard the words trade agreement, I was like, oh dear, okay, I haven't got a clue. But it's really not that simple to understand. And if you come along to like learn more about it and you're feeling confused, you aren't alone, so don't worry. But a few Green TDs and a few other TDs are against this as well. So I'm just going to read some of their opinions on that. So Nasa Horrigan, who is a Green Party TT, she said that scrutiny by an Oireachtas committee is a necessary step in the process, but not an end in itself. And Oireachtas committee should provide a forum for the detailed examination of some of the issues we have with the CETA treaty, particularly the investment court system. She also said there's absolutely no time pressure for us to ratify the deal. So whenever we tried to push it through, pretty much behind our backs, that didn't go down well with a lot of activists who knew rightly that there was no reason to push this through without looking at it properly. The Sinn Féin spokesperson on climate justice, Senator Lynn Boylan, who is a fantastic climate activist, she said that this referral must not be used to avoid scrutiny. And that's really the fear that a lot of us have right now, is that it will genuinely just be pushed through. They'll say, oh, it went to the committee said it was fine, when we know ourselves that it's really not. So it really is a bad deal for workers, it's bad for the environment, and it's a very bad deal as well for our own finances. The idea that we will have to let corporations sue the state over our own public policy decisions is inherently wrong, no matter how much or how little you know about politics. It's our business, it really is, and we shouldn't be letting corporations from another nation, no matter how friendly they are to us, we shouldn't be letting them dictate what we do. So there really does need to be a cross-committee investigation, because it could have really wide-ranging effects as a society that we haven't noticed yet, and maybe that we aren't all aware of yet, and that they're trying to maybe keep under the rug from us a wee bit. So I've been part of the Greta generation, same as Julie. So we kind of, we really cut our teeth in the last few years with climate activism, but we're not just climate activists. We're worried about everything. We're worried about our own futures. And the scary thing about CETA is that it really isn't just bad for the environment. It's bad for workers. It's bad for everything. Like, the more you think about it, the more you realize that anything we do can be attacked by corporations that really shouldn't have any say in the matter. So I do remember last year we were at the climate strikes and we had so much hope. We really did have so much hope that, we could be part of a better future. We could fight but more. And whenever we were locked down, I do remember us all thinking, well, what are we going to do now? How are we going to protest from home? So I wanted to talk a bit about that, because I have thought quite a lot about that. And while I'm not an expert on law, I am becoming more and more of an expert on activism. So this really isn't about this government or this year or this generation. It's about all of us. It's about our futures. It's about the fact that our futures are going down the drain. We know that we have less than 10 years left to do something about the climate, and the idea that this chill effect could stop this government and the coming governments from doing anything about it is terrifying, because there's only so many of us that are going to be here by the time everything starts to go we'll say upside down. We'll say upside down. By the time everything goes upside down, half our government will be gone, completely gone from this earth, and we're the ones who are going to have to be left to deal with the consequences. So I wrote an article for the University Times this week, and they asked me about student activism during lockdown. So I thought about this a lot, and I think that it kind of rings true no matter what age you are, no matter what you're doing, and no matter who you are. Our traditional methods have to go out the window now. So we can't just go out and stand outside Dáil Éireann. We can't take a leaf out of the far right book, and we can't go out and put people's lives at risk to stop people's lives being at risk. It doesn't make any sense. So what we need to do is throw our traditional methods out the window completely. We've got to ring them until the phone falls off the hook. We've got to email every day. We've got to make sure that we personalize our emails, because some of our TDs, especially the beloved Cathal Berry, doesn't like when those he is paid to represent don't personalize emails for him. So be sure to personalize your emails. But you need to send letters. We need to talk to others, and we need to make them understand how serious this is, because there's only so many of us that have the time to scrutinize this, have the time to realize what it's going to do to our futures. And there's only so many of us that have the time to fight, because so many of us are just fighting to exist. So if you have the time to fight on this issue, I would say now is the time, because it's actually quite like what Lorna said, put lipstick on a goat or lipstick on a pig, but in Irish it's Carshida or Garrog, it's Garragonia. So they really are trying to put silk on a goat and just sending it to committee is like putting silk on a goat and trying to get away with it. But we know it's still a goat. And to be honest, it's all our features, and we can't just let them get away with this, because they're getting away with far too much. And this one has really, really important, long-lasting ramifications. So if I have one takeaway, the takeaway I want you to take away is that you can talk to people, you act on this, and just because you're stuck, within 5K of your home doesn't mean you can't make your voice heard. So that's me.